I'm back for another paragraph on generosity. As I just finished reading the course lesson, I Bless the World Because I Bless Myself, lesson 187, and it really inspired the thoughts of giving and what true giving is in this world, because ultimately what we have been taught true giving is, we think that it comes from a place of lack, that if I give something of myself to others, well then I'm going to be losing something. But this is backwards. This is the type of giving that the ego likes to think, that, you know, it's the opposite of what is truth. But what truth reminds us that true giving means is that as we give all to everyone, we receive all. And that every single thing that we give, it will come back to us intensified and magnified and absolutely more than we could have ever thought possible. So we're learning to follow this law of creation, which is the golden rule: give as you would receive. And in the teacher's manual, there's a portion under the characteristics of God's teachers. What are the characteristics of God's teachers? And I'll list them off. I'm only going to read one, but I'll list them off. There's trust, honesty, tolerance, gentleness, joy, defenselessness, generosity, patience, faithfulness, open-mindedness. Yay! So those are the characteristics of God's teachers. Tom's laughing at me. And that's it. And so these are the wholeness of what we are, and it's fun. So I'm going to read generosity, number 7, and it really correlates with the thought of giving as you would receive. So here we go. The term generosity has special meaning to the teacher of God. It is not the usual meaning of the word. In fact, it is a meaning that must be learned, and learned very carefully. Like all the other attributes of God's teachers, this one rests ultimately on trust. For without trust, no one can be generous in the true sense. To the world, generosity means giving away, in the sense of giving up. To the teachers of God, it means giving away in order to keep. This has been emphasized throughout the text and the workbook, but it is perhaps more alien to the thinking of the world than many other ideas in our curriculum. Its greater strangeness lies merely in the obviousness of its reversal of the world's thinking. In the clearest way possible and at the simplest of levels, the word means the exact opposite to the teachers of God and to the world. And that's exactly how I started off this video, right? People have this false idea of what giving and receiving is. And that's why I feel, as we learn to practice forgiveness, which is, healing our mind to embrace this true perception, that from this place of true clarity and seeing this world through the eyes of Christ and not the eyes of the body, is when we are given the means to truly give as we would receive. And in the act of giving, we are learning what true giving is. And that, as we give all to all, we receive everything, right? The teacher of God is generous out of self-interest. This does not refer, however, to the self the world speaks of. The teacher of God does not want anything he cannot give away because he realizes it would be valueless to him by definition, right? Because again, my happiness is not separate from yours. Our happiness is not separate from God's. So there's nothing that I would want to give at all in this world that I would not want to share with everybody. Right? And so this is what we learn, that there is no thoughts of getting, there's no thoughts of lack, there's no thoughts of the small little self of ego that thinks it needs to gain from the world and others, which results in a lack for others. No. We're literally going like flopping the entire thought system, the entire way of seeing the world, the entire way of using this law, right? Because giving as you would receive is a law of creation. And if we were actually abiding by that up until this point, we'd have a drastically different world, right? So now we're learning to truly implement this law of creation, accept it for ourselves so we can give it away, so that together, abiding by this law of creation, we can co-create a world of peace, right? So this is fundamental for us. So the teacher of God does not want anything he cannot give away because he realizes it would be valueless to him by definition. What would he want it for? He could only lose because of it. He could not gain. Therefore, he does not seek what only he could keep, because that is a guarantee of loss. He does not want to suffer. Why should he ensure himself pain? But he does want to keep for himself all things that are of God, and therefore for his Son. These are the things that belong to him. These he can give away in true generosity, protecting them forever for himself, right? And that's why, we would never choose to give away the thoughts of, even empathy in the way in which the world sees it, and sympathize with someone's ideas of suffering or lack or pain of any kind. Because we're realizing that if we even sympathize with that and see it as real, that is the gift we're giving to others. And that's not the gifts of God. The gifts of God are in wholeness and perfection and being complete and healed already. So if we truly want to give, we'd be giving the gift of light and the gift of truth, that these people could never possibly be sick, that they can't possibly be lacking or have something gone wrong or any of that. That all that is a misperception that is worthy of forgiveness and can leave the mind of the viewer the moment that they want it and desire it the most. So that's why I've chosen and accepted salvation for myself, so that I may give these thoughts of peace, may give these thoughts of truth, may give these thoughts of healing and miracles, so I may receive it unto myself. And so it is. Thank you everybody for listening about what generosity truly is and how we truly can give as we would receive. Love you all.